Are you a coach, a consultant, or a service provider wondering how do I get in front of a group of my ideal clients? Well, that's where speaking comes in handy. Speaking is the fastest way to grow your business. That is one of my firm beliefs. I am Laurie-Ann Murabito. I am your host of the Be in Demand Show, and you are in the right place because this podcast is all about how to leverage speaking opportunities, get positioned as the expert, and monetize your expertise. We are continuing the conversation about the 6 common mistakes, and I don't want you to make these mistakes, which is why I'm highlighting them here in these past 2 episodes, because I want you to look like a pro, even if it's your very first time on stage. And yes, that is possible when you avoid these common mistakes. Let's get started, because last week I talked about, if you didn't listen to episode 264, that was part 1 of this. So I want to encourage you to go and listen to that episode, because I talked about not connecting with your audience, having either an unclear call to action or no call to action, and overwhelming your audience, trying to deliver too much information in one presentation, whether you were speaking for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45, or 60. You never want to give too much information. So here we are. And I got 3 more great mistakes I want you to avoid. Neglecting audience research. Who are you talking to? Do you know anything about the group? Have you done some research? Have you interviewed some people? This isn't always possible in every situation. And I will tell you that in a lot of situations in speaking online, because I'm speaking to very particular groups, I don't always interview my audience. However, I will interview my host, the person who is booking me. I want to know, all right, tell me about your membership. Tell me about your community. Tell me about your mastermind, your association, your group of people. And once I get that information, well, what compelled you to reach out to me? Tell me more about how I can help your audience. What do they want to know about speaking? Are they newer to speaking? Are they brand new to speaking? Are they a little seasoned? Are they more experts? Are they speaking on a regular basis for their business? Because that information, I will actually give a different presentation, because I'm going to cater it to the audience. But you would never know that unless you did some audience research, and whether you are interviewing actual people that are going to be in the audience, or you are interviewing the person who is booking you, the person who is bringing you in. So why is this a problem? Because you can really miss the mark. Your audience can feel disengaged. They can feel like she doesn't get us. She doesn't know who we are. My sister used to help plan a lot of the meetings for the company that she works for. She's now moved on to a different position. And the year before I spoke for them, they brought in somebody, and the woman who was speaking, she wasn't the right person for this audience, because they got lots of feedback later from the people that were in the audience. Like, who was that? What did that have to do with our job? Because it was the wrong person. So when you have the wrong speaker up there, your audience is disengaged. And guess what happens when they're disengaged? They're pulling out their phone. They're whispering to people that are sitting next to them. They're picking up their phone. They're looking at their email. They're sending text messages. They're checking their flights to see if they're on time. They're just not in the room. They're not fully present. I'm sure that this woman could have customized her talk so that the audience that she was speaking to felt connected and could get something out of the message. Make sure you do your research. Either interview people that are going to be in the audience, interview the person who is booking you. If you interview people, you can actually use some of their stories in your presentation. By using the language and the references, the people are going to be, oh my God, she gets us. She's like one of us. And the year that I did speak to this large insurance company that my sister worked for, I customized this it's an act that I do in the beginning with a bunch of little balls. I can customize this depending on what audience I'm speaking in front of. And it's funny. And it's a great way to open up a speech. And that was exactly what I did. And I got a huge laugh over something that this audience gripes about all the time. Number 2 is running overtime. Oh my goodness, I have seen this over and over and over again. Please, please, it is okay to finish a few minutes early than it is to go overtime. So I was down in Florida. I was actually their January big dinner speaker. And because I was staying down in Florida for a few months, I went to the next one because I was really interested in this woman's topic. And she did a good job. Now remember, this was a breakfast meeting. The people that are in that audience were on their way to work. So that's a key point here. She looked over at the leadership table and said, "How much longer do I have?" And I think they said 5 minutes. She went 15 minutes over. She finished her presentation. And even before she was done, like people were packing up and then heading out the door because they didn't want to be late for their first meeting in the morning. That is one of those big faux pas. I actually felt bad for this woman. One, whatever your call to action is, no one's signing up for it. Maybe not no one. I mean, I'm exaggerating. I'm sure that there were some people that did sign up for it, but she probably lost a lot of opportunity because she went overtime. And I look at ending on time means that you are being respectful of your audience. You respect their time, and you know that your talk is not the only thing that's on their list to do. So please always end early and never go overtime your closes. That way you can look at a clock and know, okay, I've got 15 minutes till I need to end this, and my close is 7 minutes long. And so you know you only have X amount of time to either take questions or to finish up your presentation, because that might mean you have to actually skip over something. And keep this in mind. If you are speaking at a conference and the meeting planner comes up to you and says, "I know that we had you allotted to speak for 45 minutes, but the person before you went overtime. I need you to cut your talk by 15 minutes so we can go to lunch on time." You better know how to do that. You better know what sections to actually take out. That it seems like it's seamless, no big deal. I will do that because your job is to make that meeting planner look like a rock star. And the third one is such a big mistake. Like, I can't even believe I have to mention this. But it is something that I see a lot of people do. And in the beginning, I did this too. When I was first starting speaking. And I've had clients that I had to remind to do this again and again. And it is forgetting to follow up with leads. Not just the people who, sign up for your lead magnet, your checklist, want to learn more, but the people who hand you their business cards and say, "Hey, I would really like to talk to you more about maybe bringing you into my company. Hey, I've got a place that would love to have you come and speak. Hey, I'd love to have you on my podcast." Create a system. I realize that when you're the speaker, there is a lot going on that you are trying to juggle mentally. But having some sort of a system, and having a system that involves pencil and paper, that's totally legit. Write things down. Hand somebody your notebook. Could you jot down your name? What's the best way for me to contact you? Look at it. Make sure you can read the email address. Maybe you find them on LinkedIn also. Being able to follow up. And people are busy. So just know that sometimes you follow up once, and guess what? They might not answer. They might not answer right away. So have a follow-up system. And then if you get ghosted, you get ghosted. But this is how you are going to lose so much opportunity. And you've heard me say again and again and again that speaking literally can snowball. And this is how speaking literally snowballs, is because at each event that you're speaking at, you are getting 2 other leads, 3 other leads, but you've got to follow up with those leads. You can't expect the person who wants to bring you in to speak in their company or their organization or on their podcast. You can expect them to do all the work. And I think this one also ties in really well with the call to action and making it super easy for people to sign up for your lead magnet, to stay in touch with you. Make these URLs that you are sending people to something easy to remember. I just spoke for a conference, and so I just here's the lead magnet, and it was speakandstandout.com/, and it was the name of their conference with hyphens so that it's easy to read. Have a QR code so that people can just pick up their phone, use the camera, and go right to your website. Always think about, how can I make this easy for them to stay in touch, to stay in relationship with me. So I hope that you've enjoyed these 6 mistakes from last week's episode. And this week we went over forgetting to follow up, running over time, and forgetting to do your research. These are all different ways that your audience is going to feel connected to you. They're going to feel respected and be able for you to have other opportunities. So I cannot believe that we are ending 2024 in a matter of days, not weeks, because here we are in December. And if you would like to grab my new listener's guide, thank you very much to all my new listeners. I've got a new PDF that has all of my most popular episodes all together in one document, along with the other ways that you can be involved in my world, like the speaker circle community calls, a speaker breakthrough session, and all my different lead magnets, depending on where you are in your speaking and business journey. You can grab that new listener guide at speakandstandout.com/guide, GUIDE. And I hope that you enjoy. And I always love to hear from you. So you want to send me a message? You are going to hear from me and not some bot and not some team member. I am the person who answers my emails, and I am the person who answers all of my DMs. So feel free to DM me. The 2 places that I hang out the most, LinkedIn and Instagram for DMs, but you can also find me on Threads.